Yes. Any one of you? Can you define the word heredity? How you are going to define this word? Students, you are hearing me, na?
Passing of variation.
Yes.
Ma'am, passing of variations from one generation to another is called heredity.
Yes, very good. See, whenever we people are talking about the term heredity, we know that heredity is simply the transmission of character from one generation to the other. जब एक जनरेशन से दूसरे जनरेशन में कैरेक्टर्स ट्रांसफर होते हैं तो फॉर दैट वी यूज द टर्म हेरिडिटी ओके फॉर एग्जांपल सेम height of our body, shape of our nose, or even eye color, shape of our chin. So these things, these are the traits or the characters that are transmitted from parent to offspring. So the transmission of trait from parent to offspring, that is called heredity. Yes, transmission of genetically based character from parent to offspring, that is called trait. Yes, very good. Someone is writing in the chat box, very good, that is the correct answer. When we people are going to define the term heredity, how we are going to define it is simply the transmission of character, we can say genetic character, from parent to offspring. That is, for that we are using the term heredity. Now, whenever we people talk about the transfer of character from parent to offspring, see those characters which are only transmitted, that is the characters which are related with the gene. अगर जीन से रिलेटेड कैरेक्टर है that only transmit, other characters do not transmit. So two types of character are there. One is called inherit, another one is called acquired. I think you people are quite familiar with these two terms, inherit and acquired. Do you know the meaning of these two terms? What is the meaning of inherit and acquired? See, two types of characters are there. Okay, some characters come to us through gene. That is the genetic character. That character we people are taking from our parents. Okay, so that character is called inherit character. And acquired character, that is that type of character which we people are gaining throughout our lifetime. Okay, during our whole lifetime, whatever things which we people are we can say the characters which we people are taking. For example, if someone is fluent in someone is playing very nice music, so that is the acquired character. Okay, but when we are talking about the genetic character, for that we are going to use the term inherit. Okay, now what is the rule of inheritance? Who has given, first of all, the rule of inheritance? One famous name. Yes, tell me. One famous name is associated with transmission of character. Do you know that famous name? Yes, anyone?
Ma'am, Gregor Mendel.
Yes, Mendel was the first person who tried to explain that how characters are transmitted from parent to offspring. So it is the Mendel's contribution, we can say. Mendel जो है, first of all, उन्होंने try किया था explain करने को कि how the characters are transmitting from the parent to offspring. Okay, in human being, the rule for inheritance of trait are related with the fact that both the father and mother contribute equal amount of genetic material to the child. Okay, it means the if we are talking about human being, then what we people are doing, we are gaining the character, we are taking the character, inheriting the character from mother as well as father. दोनों से हम लोग character लेते हैं. It means each trait can influence by the both parent. तो दोनों पेरेंट से जो हम लोग ट्रेट लेते हैं, कैरेक्टर्स लेते हैं, वो दोनों का मिला हुआ रहेगा. ठीक है ना, कि सिर्फ एक ही का दिखेगा. बिकॉज वी आर गेनिंग कैरेक्टर्स फ्रॉम बोथ मदर एंड फादर. बाईपेरेंटल ह्यूमन बीइंग जो है होता है, so that's why we are taking character from both of them. Now how the characters are transmitted, for that Mendel selected one plant for his experiment. Can you name that plant? Yes.
Pea plant.
Pea plant. That is called Pisum sativum.
Plant.
He selected pea plant for his experiment. Now, one important question from you people. Why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment? Any 3-4 point? Can you tell me? Yes. Why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment? Can you tell me, anyone?
And because clear-cut differentiating characters were present.
Okay, any more point? Why?
Ma'am, because the flower of this plant is bisexual.
Yes, very good. Another point.
The
Any
plants
more
can
point can you add in
Ma'am,
this?
they are self-pollinating.
Very good. Yes, indeed. These are the characters. That's why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment. Very good. See, Mendel selected pea plant because it is an annual plant. Okay, it has a short lifespan and several generation can be obtained within a shorter period of time. एक छोटे से समय में बहुत जनरेशन को ऑब्टेन किया जा सकता है because it is an annual plant. So when the question arises that why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment, the first point which, yes Dibya, you are also right, the first point which you can write in this is it is an annual plant and several generation can be obtained within a shorter period of time. एक छोटे से समय में बहुत सारा जनरेशन को ऑब्टेन किया जा सकता है. So this is the first point. Second one, it has perfect bisexual flower. Means a flower which contain both male and female part. So a perfect bisexual flower is present in pea plant. Next one, they are self-pollinating. Okay, the flowers are self-pollinating. That's why it is easy to obtain the pure line breed. Now one word I am using, that is called pure line breed. What does it mean? True breed or pure line breed? Yes, anyone? When we are using the term pure line or true breed, what does it mean? Do you know this term? Anyone? True breed or pure line breed, what does it mean? Yes. How you people are going to explain when I am saying that it is self-pollinating, and that's why it is easy to get pure line breed for several generations, means true breed can be obtained. It means what? See, whenever we people are using the word true breed or pure line breed, it means what? That for several generations, that plant is producing only that character which is present in that plant. Suppose we are talking about the tall plant. अगर हम लोग tall plant को ले तो several generation तक अगर उससे tall ही plant हमको obtain हो रहा है, मिल रहा है, no any mixing is there, then we call it as a true breed. Okay, और pure line breed. इसी के लिए हम लोग true breed या pure line breed term को यूज करते हैं. अगर वो tall plant है और several generation तक, मतलब बहुत सारे generation में उससे सिर्फ हम लोगों को tall ही plants मिल रहे हैं, तो we are going to use the term true breed. And if it is a short plant for several generations, we are obtaining the short plant from it, then we call it as true breed or pure line breed. Now I think these two terms are clear to you all. क्या true breed या pure
Yes,
line
ma'am.
breed clear हुआ? Means from the same plant, if
Yes.
same type of thing we are obtaining for several generations, then we call it as a true breed. There is no any mixing. It can't be considered as a heterozygous condition. It is homozygous. Okay. So here we are saying that Mendel selected pea plant because it is an annual plant. Then we are saying it has bisexual flower. Third point we are adding in this that it is a self-pollinating plant. It means true breed is easy to obtain. Next, we can say that pea plant produce a large number of seed in just one generation. एक generation में बहुत सारे seed को obtain किया जा सकता है pea plant से. Okay, and the plant can be easily raised. Moreover, 7 pair of contrasting characters is easily seen in the pea plant. 7 pair of contrasting character we are saying. ओके, इस पी प्लांट में 7 ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स हैं जो कि क्लियरली जो है कंट्रास्टिंग कैरेक्टर के तौर पे चूज किया जा सकता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ वी आर कंसिडरिंग द स्टेम लेंथ, स्टेम का लेंथ कितना लंबा है अगर हम लोग लेते हैं तो टॉल एंड शॉर्ट वी आर टेकिंग. Then what is the pod color? Say if it is green pod or it is yellow pod. If the pod shape is flattened or it is constricted, so in this way, if it has white flower or purple flower, so in this way 7 pair of contrasting characters can be seen in the pea plant. पी प्लांट में ये 7 पेयर ऑफ कंट्रास्टिंग कैरेक्टर इजीली दिखते हैं. दैट्स व्हाई ही सेलेक्टेड पी प्लांट फॉर हिज एक्सपेरिमेंट. So when the question come that why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment, I think now you all can answer. क्या आंसर दे सकते हो?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, now point wise you tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Point wise कोई try करो. Yes, anyone? Tell me what you will say. It is an annual plant. Second point.
And they can
Ma'am, they
produce
are
a number of
self-pollinating.
generation within a short period of
Self-pollinating.
time.
Third.
It has perfect bisexual plant.
Yes, it has perfect bisexual flower. It is self-pollinating. Many, we can say,
Ma'am, they
many
are shorter
can be obtained
lifespan.
within short period of time. So that's why, and it is easy to obtain the true breed. That's why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment. Now I think you can answer this question, or you all can answer. Okay, then we people deal with some word in this particular topic. Some word is given like dominant and recessive. Can you define the word dominant? क्या dominant word को define कर सकते हो anyone? See, when some important terms are there in this chapter like dominant, recessive, then homozygous, heterozygous. Okay, before moving on to the topic, we must know this. Yes, anyone? What do you mean by dominant and recessive? Yes? No one? Preeti, can you explain the term dominant? We all know that Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment, and then he crossed the tall plants with the short plant, and in first generation he obtained all the tall plants that you all know. You know na?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So dominant character means what? Yes, when we people are talking about dominant or recessive. See,
Ma'am,
when
tall and
Mendel-
short.
Yes.
Ma'am, which can be expressed in both hetero and homozygous series.
Yes, we can, in a simple language, we can say the character which is expressed in the first generation. Okay, that is called the dominant character. After crossing, the character which is expressed in the first generation, that is called the dominant character, and the character which remain hidden, that is called the recessive character or recessive gene.
Recessive character.
Yes, so dominant and recessive term we people are using. Then one more term here we people need to use, that is homozygous and heterozygous. Yes, homozygous and heterozygous. 3. Homozygous and heterozygous. See, for every character there is 2 gene, that you know. क्या जानते हो?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, for means genes are in pair. Okay. Now, if we are talking about the homozygous condition, so if an organism, and Alice word, you know, it is the different pair of a gene. Alice term जानते हो?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we are using the word homozygous, it means the 2 alleles means different form of a particular character are identical. Same, see here, look at the board. If we are talking about the tall, okay, then we will write it like this. Okay, in 2 pair, here we are indicating the gene in pair, and this is the character of tallness which we are representing by using capital T. Okay. Similarly, for recessive trait that is short, we are indicating it with a small t. So these two, the genes are in pair. Okay. If same identical pair is there, it is identical. If we are using the word homozygous for this one, this is called homozygous. Okay. But if it is different, say one is this one and another one is this one, this condition is called heterozygous. Because their
Heterozygous.
different forms are there. Okay. I think now it is
Yes,
clear to
ma'am.
you homozygous and heterozygous. क्या homozygous और
Yes, ma'am.
heterozygous clear है? Heterozygous
Yes.
organism causing contrasting allele in pair means they are not similar alleles. It is contrasting. From with tall we are taking the short. So contrasting alleles is there. Alleles means different form of a gene. Okay. So if similar pair is there, we are using the word homozygous, and if different pair is there, we are using the word heterozygous. तो हम लोग homozygous और heterozygous word को use कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. Okay. Now dominant and recessive is clear to you all. Next term which I am asking is phenotype and genotypic ratio. Yes. What do you mean by phenotypic ratio and what do you mean by genotypic ratio? When we will discuss Mendel's experiment, then all these terms are needed. Okay. Anyone? Yes.
Ma'am, phenotype means
Ma'am, the
external
genotype
visual
refers to the genetic material passed between generation.
And phenotypic ratio?
Ma'am, it is observable character
Very good,
of
yes.
traits.
Means when we are talking about the observable character, the character which we simply see and observe that this one is tall and this one is short. So that one is called the phenotypic ratio. But according to genetic composition, if we take, then we call it as genotypic ratio. Okay. So all these terms we people are going to use when we people discuss the Mendel's experiment. जब हम लोग मेंडल्स एक्सपेरिमेंट की बात करेंगे तो ये सारे टर्म्स जो हैं यूज होंगे. ठीक है. When we are talking about the transmission of character, that is called heredity. Okay. Gene, it is the basic physical and functional unit of heredity which determine the character of an offspring, that is called gene. Genotypic ratio means the ratio which according to the genetic composition, the ratio which we are getting. And phenotypic ratio, it is the observable character which we people are noticing, that is called phenotypic ratio, the ratio which we people are obtaining. Then homozygous, heterozygous, that is clear to you. Alleles term is clear to you. Now let us discuss the Mendel's experiment. So how did Mendel's experiment show that traits may be dominant or recessive? This is the very important question which is given in your NCERT book. Okay. Now anyone tell me how you are going to describe the Mendel's experiment? What Mendel actually did? Yes. Anyone?
Ma'am, this law can be defined into three categories. First, law of dominance. Second, law of segregation. And law of independent experiment.
See, three laws has been given by Mendel. One is called law of dominant. Second one is called law of segregation, and the last one is called law of independent assortment.
Ma'am, the law of independent.
Yes, independent assortment. Law of independent assortment. Three law was given by Mendel. That is, first one is law of dominance. Second one is law of segregation. Third one is law of independent assortment. Now let us discuss the first law, that is law of dominance. Okay, that is not given in NCERT, and in NCERT the name of this is not given. That name of all the laws is not given. Simply they have described the experiment. Okay, so what Mendel did? Mendel first of all took the true line breed of tall plant and crossed it with short plant. Mendel ने क्या किया? True line breed लिया tall plant का. True line breed, I think now you people understand what is the meaning of true breed. Okay, so pure line breed he took, means for the several generation from that particular plant, only tall plant he obtained. And similarly, for several generation from the short plant, he is obtaining the short plants. Now when Mendel crossed the tall plant with the short plant, जब Mendel ने क्रॉस करवाया tall plant को short plant से, see how he did it. Okay, so first of all, by taking the tall plant that is pure line breed, he crossed it with a short plant that is this one. In the first generation, he obtained this type of ratio. Okay, now this can be presented by drawing a Punnett square. What is Punnett square? Anyone? Punnett square? Yes. Punnett square को describe कर सकते हो? What is Punnett square? Anyone? See, it is a square which is made, which indicate us that what will be the probable number of offspring. Okay, that is called, it is the probability diagram, we can say, probability diagram. See, I am doing this one. Here we are taking tall. Okay, these are the tall plants and this one is the short plant. Now I am making the Punnett square. This one is our Punnett square. Okay, I think the board is visible to you all. Yeah, board visible hai?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, see the Punnett square. Okay, see what he did. He crossed the pure line tall, means true breed of tall plant he took and true breed of the short plant he took. He crossed tall with short plant. In the first generation, he obtained the ratio. See what will be the ratio when we people are doing this one. See, all plants were of tall. कैसे plants मिले उनको? सारे के सारे tall plants मिले. In the first generation, F1 generation, he obtained all the tall plants. Okay, by crossing true breed of tall plants with the true breed of short plant in the first generation, he obtained all the tall plants. Okay, in this way. So let us represent this one as capital T and small t. We are indicating this one after crossing. He is obtaining this ratio. F1 generation में उनको जितने भी plant मिले, वो कैसे plant थे? All are tall plants. So the characteristic of tall is dominant. Okay. Now what he did, whatever he obtained in the first generation, जो उन्होंने first generation में obtain किया, he allowed that plant to self-pollinate. And in second generation, what he obtained the ratio of, what will be the ratio? Yes, see, what will be the ratio? Tell me. What is the ratio? This one is? Yes, anyone? See, in the second generation, when he allowed the first generation plants to self-pollinate, in second generation, Mendel got the ratio of 3:1. See, this one is a pure tall. This one here, tall and short both is present. Here also tall and short both is present. So, in this two, the dominant character will be tall. So, he got the
Tall.
ratio of 3:1. See, this one 3 and this one is 1. So the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. But when we talk about phenotypic ratio, based on gene, 1 is complete tall, 2 is in between these two, and 1 is complete short. So 1:2:1 is the genetic ratio, and 3:1 is the phenotypic ratio. Is it clear to you all? क्या ये clear
Yes,
है?
ma'am.
Any problem is there? If any problem is there, you can ask.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what Mendel did, Mendel ने क्या किया? He simply cross the pure line breed, taking the tallness of, means he took the first character as the length of the stem. What is the length of stem? That is tall or short. So for studying the character, how characters are transmitting, he simply crossed that too. In the F1 generation, he obtained all the tall plants, and he concluded that the characteristic of tallness is dominant. But when he allowed that first generation plant to self-pollinate, in the second generation, he is obtaining the ratio of 3:1. It means what? Somewhere in the first generation, the characteristic of shortness was present, but it is in hidden form. So that is the recessive trait. वो कैसा trait था? Recessive trait था, वो hidden था first generation में, but in the next generation, it comes out. Okay, so by this experiment we can explain his two law. दो law को हम लोग explain कर सकते हैं. Now anyone tell me how we are going to explain the two law which is given by Mendel, that is law of dominance. So here I already explained to you law of dominance. Law of segregation can be also explained by this cross. How? Anyone? How we are going to explain law of segregation? Yes, tell me. See, though the character of tallness and shortness was present in the first generation, okay, but tallness character was dominant. The recessive character, that is shortness, was also present, but it is in recessive trait, means it is hidden. Okay, but in next generation it comes out. It means these two characters are not mixing anywhere. Okay, these characters are not mixing, it is segregated in the next generation. ये अलग है दोनों, ये दोनों कैरेक्टर टॉल और शॉर्ट अलग है, कहीं मिक्स नहीं हो रहे हैं. इसीलिए नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में हम लोगों को शॉर्ट कैरेक्टर जो है मिल गया. ओके, इट सेग्रीगेटेड. तो दिस इज लॉ ऑफ सेग्रीगेशन एंड लॉ ऑफ डोमिनेंस that I already explained to you. Now here when we people are studying the about taking one character, we are doing the cross. That type of cross is called, for studying a character at a time, when taking one character a cross is made, that type of cross is called. Yes, anyone? For studying the transmission of character, what we are doing, we are taking one character and crossing that character. Here we are taking the height of the plant, whether it is tall or short. Okay, so that type of cross is called. Anyone? Ojashwini, Preeti, anyone? When a cross is made for studying one character at a time, it is called
Monohybrid cross.
monohybrid. Very good. Yes, we are using the term monohybrid cross. So here a cross is made for studying only one character, that is the stem of a length of stem of a plant. So here we will use the term monohybrid cross. But if we study two character at a time, then we are calling it as dihybrid cross. Okay, तो यहाँ हम लोगों ने monohybrid cross को किया. लेकिन नेक्स्ट वाले में हम लोग क्या करेंगे, फॉर स्टडिंग द कैरेक्टर ऑफ वी कैन से हाउ कैरेक्टर्स आर इंडिपेंडेंटली सॉर्टेड. तो फॉर दैट वी नीड व्हाट, वी नीड अ डाइहाइब्रिड क्रॉस. वहां हम लोगों को डाइहाइब्रिड क्रॉस को लेने की जरूरत पड़ेगी. नाउ इज देयर एनी प्रॉब्लम इन दिस वन? इज देयर एनी प्रॉब्लम? यस. This probability diagram, that is the probability diagram which this square is representing. One square is probable, square is made, that is called Punnett square. इसको क्या कहते हैं? Punnett square. It is representing the what will be the probable number of offspring. क्या होगा probable number of offspring if we are making a cross? Say another example I am taking. Okay, suppose I am writing here. I am writing here. See, we are taking the color coat color of a dog. Okay, and simply the dog's coat color is black. I am representing by this one, and here brown. Okay, so black and brown we are taking, then we are crossing that two. In the first generation, here when we are crossing these two, in the first generation what we are obtaining? We are obtaining black character as the dominant. Okay, this one is the black character, that is dominant one. In next generation, okay, what will be the number of offspring in the second generation, F2 generation? Tell me. Yes, anyone? What will be the probable number of offspring in the second generation? If I am representing first generation, I am showing to you. ये फर्स्ट जनरेशन को मैंने दिखाया. सेकेंड जनरेशन में क्या मिलेगा हम लोगों को? नो वन. Arul, tell me what will be the number of how we are going to represent it in F2 generation. This is the F1 generation which I have shown. I am showing to you people. This one is F1 generation. This one F1 generation. Okay. Now in F2 generation, what we are going to obtain? Anyone? Tell me. F2 generation में क्या मिलेगा हमें? And what will be the genotypic and phenotypic ratio? Yes. You people are hearing me, na? Ojashwini.
Yes, ma'am.
What will be the number of offspring? F1 generation को मैंने दिखाया है, देखो वो बोर्ड पे दिख रहा है. In F2 generation, what we are going to get? In F1 generation, I am showing you that black color is the dominant one. Okay, here I have shown the black color is dominant one in F1 generation. Now, what we are going to get in the F2 generation? Yes. F2 generation में क्या मिलेगा हम लोगों को?
Ma'am, capital B.
Yes. See, when
Small
we are
b, small
crossing
b.
these two in the F2 generation, what we are going to get? देखो ध्यान से बोर्ड पे. See how we are going to get. When in F1 generation we are getting this one. ये हम लोग को मिल रहा है F1 generation पे. Let us write it like this. We are going to make it like this. See, and crossing is done. Okay, here we are representing it. Here say male and this one is female. Then how we are going to get? In the first one we are going to get capital B. Here we are going to get this one. Next one, this two. Again this one. See how we are going to get. So what we have noticed that the black color is the dominant one. And phenotypic ratio is 3:1, means 3 black and 1 is of brown color. But if we are talking about genotypic ratio, जब genotypic ratio की बात करेंगे, what will be the genotypic ratio? Yes.
And 1:2:1.
1:2:1. Very good. Yes, I think now it is clear to you all. क्या ये clear है?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now listen carefully. One important question from this portion comes. Okay, in NCERT that particular question is given, that how Mendel's experiment shows that trait may be dominant or recessive. एक क्वेश्चन आता है जो कि तुम्हारे बुक में दिया हुआ है NCERT में, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है कि मेंडल एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कैसे शो करता है कि ट्रेट डोमिनेंट होगा या रिसेसिव. ओके, तो you can represent that one, you can explain that question by simply drawing a Punnett square and then explaining that how the characters are transmitting from first generation to next. I think now you all can do it. How you are going to explain? Tell me. Yes, anyone? कैसे लिखोगे इसको? How Mendel experiment shows that trait may be dominant or recessive. You start simply that Mendel took pure line breed or true breed of tall and short plant. He crossed that two, and in the first generation he obtained all the tall plants. Okay, when he allowed the first generation plants to self-pollinate, in the next generation he obtained the ratio of 3:1, that is the phenotypic ratio, and in the second generation the genetic composition will be 1:2:1, that is the genotypic ratio. Okay, so by his experiment in the first generation he got all the tall plants, and he concluded that the characteristic of tallness is dominant. Okay, then you people simply draw the Punnett square and explain it, that how the characters which Mendel took as the dominant one that appear in the first generation, and in the second generation how he is getting the ratio of 3:1. Okay, kabhi kabhi kya hota hai, sometimes a question is given in which